Clerk Faulkner, will you have the roll call, please?
Steve Arnott.
Here.
Mike Scipio.
Here.
Doug Fletchman.
Here.
Greg Wolf.
Here.
Missed you. Greg Hudson.
Here.
Connie Wood, don't change positions. Connie Thompson. Present. Greg Hughes.
Here.
Lynn Bogus. I'm here.
Quorum being present, I declare the March 4th, 2019 meeting of the Dunbar City Council in order. First item on the agenda is approval of the February 19th, 2019 council meeting. 2 minutes.
Second.
Yes.
There's been a motion by Councilman Scipio to approve the minutes of the February 19th, 2019 council meeting, seconded by Councilman Fletchman. Any discussion or comment? Being none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions, none. All the motion carries. Next item on the agenda is invoices for payment.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we pay our invoices for this period totaling $93,461.09.
Second.
There's been a motion by Councilman Hudson to approve payment of invoices totaling $93,461.09. Was seconded by Councilman Scipio. Any comments or discussions? Being none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is the 2019-2020 budget.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we approve our budget as coming out of the Finance Committee for 2019-2020. And totaling, look, as we made one, added, Brian slipped out. The totals, it was 6.7 million. I forget the exact because we made one adjustment of $1,500.
I'll second that.
We actually had reduced it by 1,500, so it was $6,726,725 minus 1,500 from that. See, that's the calculator. I forgot to calculate that.
What is it?
720. It's $6,726,725 minus $1,500.
$6,725,225.
$6,725,225.
Yes, 725.
Yes, we have a motion for approval of the budget in the amount of $6,725,225. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion has been seconded by Councilman Wolf. Any further discussion or comment?
Mr. Chairman, if I could comment. First, I apologize for not calculating that $1,500 correction we just made. But also for those of you out here, I want to share with you, it's a very lean budget. And part of it is funded by carryover from the state under budget this year. But also want to thank Mayor's office, Clerk's office, department heads, and the rest of council. There's a lot involved in planning this and behind the scenes, and then we were here a couple weeks ago for hours, and even tonight for a lengthy time. So I want to just thank everybody for their involvement in it and their help. And also, if you have any questions, feel free to ask the clerk or myself or the mayor or anyone else on council about that. That's just a comment on this year's budget.
Any other comments? Being none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor of approval of the 2019-2020 budget in the amount of $6,725,225 indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Any abstentions? Being none, motion carries. Next item on the agenda is approval to enter into an agreement with Datamax for new business licensing. What they will do is go out and search people that are doing business in the city of Dunbar that are not currently holding a business license, require them to obtain a business license, and in doing so, they would be obligated to pay us the B&O taxes based upon the volume of work that they're doing. They have an agreement with St. Albans, Nitro, South Charleston, working on Charleston, should be confirmed soon. And it's been a struggle trying to get everybody on board to approve this, and if approved by council, the funds will be set aside for some other use at a future council meeting. It's hard to say what it was, can't say it yet, because we were told we can't do that till the next council meeting. So with that in mind, entertain a motion to approve the agreements.
I'll second.
There's been a motion by Councilman Fleshman to approve entering into an agreement with
Steve Arden.
Oh, Steve, I'm sorry. I took my hearing aid out so they could hear me. Sorry about that. There's been a motion by Councilman Arnott to approve the entering into an agreement with Datamax for new business licensing. Seconded by, by Councilman Scipio. Any further discussion or comment before we take the vote? Being none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Any abstentions? Being none, motion carries. The next item on the agenda is approval to purchase a 2019 Ford F-350 pickup truck.
I make a motion, we purchase 2019 Ford F-350 pickup from Thornhill Automotive under state bid for $28,967 for the street public works department.
I'll second.
There's been a motion by Councilman Fleshman to approve the purchase of a 2019 Ford F-350 pickup truck from Thornhill Automotive under the state contract, $28,967.33. Seconded by Councilman Hughes. Any further discussion or comment?
In the future, on this structure, we need to get a bed lighter for it, whether it be sprayed on it or otherwise. Spray on better.
It will be a spray on. Any further questions, comments? Being none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions? Being none, motion carries. Next item on the agenda is approval of the demolition of 301.5 19th Street.
Mayor, I would move that we approve the contract to demolish 301.5 19th Street using RS Environmental Incorporated for $6,250.
I'll second it.
There's been a motion by Councilman Arnott to approve the contract with RNS Environmental in the amount of $6,250 for the demolition of 301.5 19th Street, seconded by Councilman Scipio. Any further questions or comments? Being none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions? Being none, motion carries. Next item on the agenda is approval for the police department to purchase new handguns.
Mayor, I make a motion that we approve for the purchase of police department new handguns not to exceed $21,000.
Second.
May I make an amendment to that to include the wording that's purchased at West Virginia Law Enforcement Distributors? From the DEA fund. Thank you.
Any further questions or comments? There's been a proper motion by Councilman Wolf to approve the purchase of new 9mm handguns at a cost not to exceed $21,000 to be paid for with DEA funds from West Virginia Law Enforcement Distributors. Seconded by Councilwoman Balgus. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions, none. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is approval of the semifinal payment to Wolf Creek Contracting.
Make a motion that we make the semi-final payment to Wolf Creek Contracting for streetscape in the amount of $70,325,000.26.
Second.
Doug.
There's been a motion by Councilman Scipio to approve the semifinal payment to Wolf Creek Contracting for the streetscape project totaling $70,325.26. Was seconded by Councilman Fleshman. Any further questions or comments? Being none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions, none. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is approval of the final payment to Wolf Creek Contracting Company.
I'd like to make a motion that we make the final payment to Wolf Creek Contracting for streetscape project totaling $5,000, but that's to be reduced upon approval by an audit of DOT.
Second.
There's been a motion by Councilman Scipio to approve the final payment to Wolf Creek Contracting Company for the streetscape project totaling $5,000 to be released upon approval of the final audit by DOT. Seconded by Councilman Hudson. Any further questions or comments? Being none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Any abstentions? Being none, motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, may I speak to the motion? Just if you've been keeping track over the last several months, just to make sure everyone's clear, all our payments to Wolf Creek total $592,917.46. That was all paid out from city checks. However, we were reimbursed at 80% by the state, so actual cost to the city was $118,583.50. So we paid the whole bill, but 80% of it comes from the state. Our share was just under $120,000. So if you're curious, because it was an expensive project, it was 20% from us and 80% from the state of West Virginia.
To go with what the councilman has stated, to further be noted that the project finished out $35,000 under what we had budgeted. So there's still some money left in streetscape that we can put toward the next phase when it's finally approved. And I think the next year's budget will. Okay. Go down to reports. Chief Moss.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. First, I want to say thanks for the support with the purchase of the firearms. There was an invitation. I think there was enough back there, but on behalf of the Women's Club, Betty Ross is in the audience tonight. We'd like to invite you on March 14th at 7 p.m. to the Women's Club to learn a little bit about the Kanawha County emergency warning systems, the apps that they have. Red Cross is going to be there to get some information on some different things. Then there'll be a first aid program on Stop the Bleed, kind of a hands-on training. That's 7 o'clock. It's free. There'll be refreshments. If anyone has any questions about that or anything else? Thank you.
Chief Thornhill.
Good evening, everyone. Couple things to catch you all up. The ladder truck is repaired and back in service, tested, certified, and we're back on the road. A couple weeks ago, you all approved, actually, no, our SCBA compressor that we use to fill our air tanks has to be recertified and tested to meet NFPA standards. We got that certification back today. We're back clean and good and approved. Auto accidents, last week was really strange for us. We had a lot of calls, but Thursday last week, we had 2 calls in the same day where we had to cut people out of cars. One of them actually on 20th Street here in town. I've never seen that in about 22 years. But the servicing you all approved just a few weeks ago that we had done is already paying off. Those tools work like they're supposed to. And all those people were safely removed from the car. One of them is still in the hospital recovering. I think everyone else is back home recovering. Fortunately, no one's seriously hurt or killed. Last weekend and this weekend, I've got 3 guys in fire school training, being certified to be fire instructors. And what that means is decreased costs in the future. When we bring people in, we will be able to do more and more training internally without having to farm out the costs to get new firefighters certified. And even some of the officer training that we have to farm out, they'll be able to do that too. So it's part of a bigger plan that you'll reap the benefit in years to come. But they'll complete that this coming weekend. And with that, I want to thank all of you for the budget approvals, hearing my pleas. I thank all of you got the highest respect. Appreciate all that. I'll take in, one more quick thing. Outside burning season started March 1, which means you can now burn after 5 p.m. till 7 a.m. And again, if you're in the city, you have to call the fire department, get a burn permit. That lets us know what you're doing and gives us an opportunity to tell you what you can and can't do, what you can and cannot burn. With that, I'll take any questions and I'll shut up.
I'd like to ask a question.
Yes.
I'm fuzzy on the law now. These outside fire pits that these people have in their yards now, what are the limitations on those to how big they can be and how close they can be to a structure? Or is there any limitations?
Unfortunately, there's no state law limitation on those. There's only recommendations, and we recommend 20 feet from any structure. Sometimes that's going to be a little hard to do.
I think we need to.
Most of the manufacturers, if you read the manufacturer's recommendation on those fire rings and even the kits you buy, they'll recommend 20 feet from any wooden structure.
But there are no laws or no codes.
Not that we can find. Now, we do still also request that you call the fire department and let us know you're using those. We're not going to tell you can't. If we don't know and smoke goes into the neighbor's yard and then they call us, here we come with a bunch of fire trucks, and all you're doing is trying to have a little campfire. So if you let us know ahead of time, maybe avoid that.
So I've called the fire department twice in the last couple of weeks, people having those things burning with 3 and 4 foot flames coming out of them, 5 and 6 feet from a house.
Yeah.
Or a garage.
As far as I know, there is no statutory
Okay.
law on those, but there are user recommendations on the product when you buy it, when you install it.
And that's pretty much all the code would do anyway. It would say follow manufacturer recommendations.
There's common sense would go a long way there.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Does that mean that I have to call every night?
Yes.
Oh, you don't feel.
Every night, Bob, you have to call.
Just text you. Yeah.
Okay. Public Public Works, Mr. Elliott.
Mayor, a few quick things. I've been working in the alleys, getting the alleys gravelled up. I haven't got the blacktop. I've got coal patch. We'll be working on those as soon as the weather warms up. It's too cold to put it in there right now. We've collected almost 500 tons of trash for the last 2 months, and we've been working at the lake and working at the park with you, getting ready for the handicap swing to go in. I'll take any questions if anybody has any. And also, thanks for the approval on another truck. Hopefully, we'll be in good shape now.
Sanitary Board Assistant Director, Mr. Matt Paulson.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully next week, this Wednesday, I've got concrete scheduled, so we'll be taking care of the divot in the middle of Dunbar Avenue, 16th and 17th Street. Other than that, we've just been fixing some leaks and broken lines throughout town. Any questions that I can take now?
Since you brought that up real quick, if you'll remind me, we've got a sidewalk that's given in front of the Baptist church in our circular driveway. It's a city sidewalk, it's a cable. If you'll remind me, I'll meet you down there.
No, all sidewalks are the property owners.
I'm sorry. Yeah, just not our problem, it's causing the cave in.
Line? Service line or ours?
I don't know until we look at it. That's why I was wondering.
Camera.
The difference you're talking about at the alley.
Isn't it good that he's coming instead of Barney? That thing's gonna get fixed. Okay, next on the agenda is Building Inspector Hewley.
Static that we finally got 301 and a half 19th Street, approved to tear down. I'll call the guy first thing in the morning. Hopefully he can jump right on it for the next couple of days. He only has 20 days to start and 7 days to complete after he started. So that will be an eyesore that's removed quickly. We are working up at the park for the ADA compliant swing. We're getting ready to put a curb in. We've already got our ditch in up there. We're waiting on weather. We're going to piggyback from that and concrete. It's hard to get now. Everybody's booked up. So we're going to piggyback it and hopefully pour next weekend, weather permitting. And that'll be one more thing out of the way. Working on a lot of houses that are abandoned that the homeless are breaking into. It's just a never-ending problem. Came over and checked out the one by your all's house the other day. Somebody did end up stealing the electric meter off of, and I believe it was the person on the next street over that did it. So,
But you see, it's still hooked up, old, looks like. So that, in that meter base, it should be still hot. It's probably dangerous.
Yeah.
Or some kid walk up there and stick his hand in there, you'd freak to see right.
I'll double check that. I think I looked at it. I'll look at it again tomorrow. If it's still hot, I'll get on
I never
it.
did put a meter on it or nothing, but somebody ought to.
I got one. I'll check it. I'll check the pole too. If you see abandoned areas where people are lingering or coming in at night, or you see stuff inside of a house that shouldn't be anybody in, please let me or the police department, if you see it at night, let the police department know so they can go take care of it. But let me know also so we can start researching it and shut it down. We've already had 2 fires because of it. Homeless people breaking in places. It's a never-ending battle. I need all the help I can get identifying what's what.
One of the neighbors told me that if you could get the people that own that little house to donate it to the city, then give him the lot, he would tear the house down and you wouldn't have to deal with it anymore.
It's a problem that I can't do that because if they give it to us, I have to have it appraised and sell. So, but
That was what he said. He said make a good garden spot.
probably would. And I'd be happy to get rid of it, but, we got some on the demo list, so we're tearing some more down here pretty soon. 213 Dunbar went down last week and they've got to clean it up. Like I said, 301 and a half 19th, and then we got 215 coming up in West Virginia. So we're making headway, but let me know where your problem areas are. Gil, any questions on anything?
1707 Dunbar Avenue, I know you checked that.
I spoke to I didn't speak to the owner, and this is kind of confusing. The woman has lived there for months, I guess.
Yeah.
She's in the process of buying it, according to her mother.
She cleaned up this weekend.
I'm sure she's gonna claim the levels too. We're working on it. I didn't get to speak to the owner, actually. If I can catch her in there, I'm gonna talk to her. She's gonna have to fix her fence. Apparently she called in a police call the other night, somebody breaking in. When she got over,
There was a neighbor that called me and said that the homes were in there and they were actually peeking in the neighbor's windows and things like that.
Yeah, you talking Dunbar. I was thinking Myers Avenue.
no, that one.
The police have been down there twice in the last week.
And that's all we're doing. We're chasing them from one to another. I don't know what else we can do.
They actually have a court date from March 12th.
What about the house over there, the cop fire by Aldi's? I know the property board here several weeks ago, you were trying to get something resolved with owners.
Right, I have not heard back from him. I know he did have an asbestos inspection done. I have to see if I can get hold of him on the phone tomorrow and find out what they're doing. The asbestos inspections, he had done today. I had mine done, and they took 2 weeks to come back. So, that wasn't on him. That was on the asbestos company. I guess they were just overwhelmed with stuff. I know where county's doing a lot of them too. And one just got lined. So I'll see if I can find trouble with something, see what he's got lined up. That is not going to be a cheap job. So I'm sure we're going to as long as we allow it. I'll see what I can find out.
Is there anything different about the straddling property on 19th Street? They took the numbers off the front of the house, so I can't give you an address. But I'm sure you're familiar with it.
Well, literally over there Friday, photographing everything. I've yet to find out if all the stuff we've thrown away out of that place, how there's still that much in there.
Oh, that thing was stacked to the rafters.
Oh, yeah, but we've taken like 3 or 4 dump trucks out of there.
And the garage has still got that much more in it.
Right. So, and the back door, somebody took the back door off the hinges. I think the bank has taken it over, but I don't know for sure. And
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I don't know where she is. I don't have a phone number or,
I find her.
I think I know who you're talking about and I know where she's at.
She still does? Okay. Yep. That'd be where I thought she'd already quit out there. So. I'll see if I can get over.
The guy across the street says the bank does have it.
Okay.
It's such an eyesore for everybody down here.
Well, if I can find out what bank it is, I'll just tell them to get down here, today or two. What we're gonna do, put a lien on it, and they don't like that because it makes it hard for them to sell.
I caught some people a few months ago down there, supposed to be representatives of the bank, and they said they were gonna clean it up. They haven't touched a thing.
Probably tied up some kind of legal. They all, that's just like buying tax property. We own it, but we can't touch it for 18 months. And legally they can't, but. Yeah. Here it goes.
What about the houses behind me,
Behind or beside?
behind? Now Greg was down there a couple weeks ago and I noticed all the people are gone. But there's still trash piled up on the porches and things of that nature.
Nobody's living there?
I went over last Monday, cleaned all it up out of those yards, so it wouldn't be such an eyesore. But there's still trash piled up on the porches, cardboard boxes, those couches on the front.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this is any correlation or whatever.
Those are on 16th.
I forgot to mention it when the police chief was up, but, as of the seating, when I come home, I talked to my wife, there was 2 houses, one on, both of them was on 17th Street, but one was on the alley side and one was on 17th, facing 17th, 2 break-ins this past, weekend. And I don't know if they called the police or not. I said, you know, but one of them is on video.
I don't know if they did or
I
not.
don't either, so.
In school all weekend, I wasn't around, but obviously when people call quicker, we've had a couple package thefts. People called within minutes of it happening. We've made arrests on both of those. And then you deal with the person that, had 2 guns stolen on their house, and 2 months later, they're just now mentioning it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's hard to investigate this.
And I will say this to the audience, I've been working with the city of South Charleston building inspector on the Barrett Street. I don't know if you, I know you know where it's at, but that's not a nice neighborhood. And there's been several fires over there in the last couple of months, and it's dealt with homeless people. As of yesterday, or today, they had one house, they ran 26 people out of it. So,
You know, unfortunately, when they run them out of there,
They go,
the potential they come over here.
Right.
So if we catch them, we'll try and run them back.
Like you said, it's never ending battle.
It isn't, trust me. It's very frustrating.
Yeah, the problem with going up on somebody's porch and removing the items, we have to get a remediation order from the judge in order to, you just can't go on somebody's property and take their, that's what happened to the city of Charleston, and they ended up paying big time for it. We have to go through the process, get due notice, and then get a remediation order from the judge, which is easy to do once we go through the steps. So I'll make sure that you gets on that and follows through with that.
Basically, what they consist of, they do,
Couch, yeah.
that has their date expired on their citation.
Yeah, and they got a court date scheduled the 12th of March.
Give me a copy of it, we'll get a remediation tomorrow. Once the 10-day or whatever wait period there is expires, then they're obviously not going to do what we asked them to do. So I take it to the judge, get a remediation order, give it to Scott, and his guys go clean up whatever needs to be cleaned up, and then we send them a bill. And if they don't pay it, we'll put a lien on the property.
Anything else for him? Mr. Jones?
Thank you, Mayor. Just want to thank all the organizations and everybody who was involved in the flea market over the weekend. It was another successful event. Joanne and the part timers, they worked their tails off this weekend and did a great job. I think she had over 50-some tables she rented out for the event. We're looking at, we done talked to some of the vendors, we're looking at maybe doing it again, maybe, I know Mayor and I talked about April 28th, but I'm thinking about the first weekend of May. Might be better. So, I'll let you know.
Just remember, you have a whole bunch of pool equipment you gotta have ready, so you don't be stretching yourself out too thin.
Also, big kudos to Jacob Lucas for being traffic control and keeping my spot safe every time I had to pull out. Next event we have coming up will be April 20th, for the Easter egg hunt. I'm gonna call the, Miss Spencer from the Dunbar Intermediate School tomorrow to see if, we can use her location again. And that will be on the 20th of April, probably around 11 o'clock, and also get with the, Methodist Church on their involvement, and also the Church of God and a couple other churches that was involved last year.
Women's club.
Women's club. I love my women's club. Do they love me?
We love you. We love stuffing Easter eggs too.
Other than that, I don't have anything else.
Yeah. All right, floor is open for public comment. Anybody have anything want to add? Okay.
Mayor,
Oh, I'm sorry, yes.
I just wanted to thank the police department and the fire department and actually Scotts Creek too, because we had a drug overdose the other day in our rental. And they were there immediately taking care of things, and we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Don't have anything to say.
I didn't ask you first. Linda, do you have anything?
That's why I didn't have anything to say.
Good job.
No, I'm good.
Mr. Jim? Sure. I'm positive.
I just want to commend again all the department heads, all the employees for an excellent job of what they've been doing, keeping the city all clean and doing everything we've been doing. Appreciate it.
Connie.
Okay. I'm not sure how many y'all read the newspaper or not, but I do want to read the newspaper. And I opened up my paper Sunday morning and there was this article here. And it talks about a famous dog was taken by the city and then sold on eBay over unpaid bills. Well, there's an awful lot of cat owners. And you get to take care of two problems at one time. Pay your bills or we'll take your cat.
Is that a motion?
Can't pay your bills or they're feeding their cat.
Can we do those deer?
Is that a motion?
Yeah. Now, I expect people to pay their bills, but in Germany, they'll take your dog. They took the wheelchair, and I'm not sure what else they took. They are serious about getting their money. So, anyone that owes the city money, your dog or cat might be going.
I just want to thank all the department heads for the job they continuously do. Just, thank you guys. Thanks everybody for coming out.
I have nothing to see.
Just have two quick things. Next Monday, March the 11th at 6 p.m., we'll be having a special council meeting dealing again with the fireman's pension and that issue. So there'll be an agenda posted and just to notify you that it's a special call meeting. And then also, just on a personal note for us, our counselor mentioned tonight he had to leave. His wife has been ill, so if you would remember Steve Swisher's wife tonight as well.
Yes, sir.
I just like to thank everyone, department heads, whoever, citizens, for the big part or small part that you play in the operation of this city. Everybody needs to band together and work together, and it's very much appreciated.
Steve, it's yours.
The good thing I got is.
That's Mike.
I was gonna let you be last.
Well, guess what? I'm rooting for you. The alley behind the horse club, we need to get onto that thing, finish that job. It's getting rough again. That's all.
I just want to comment on the 301 and a half 19th Street. You know, I know we've been working on that for 5 or 6 years anyway, training something, probably longer than that. And the previous council and this council, the department heads work, the owners have tied up in court. And y'all want the same thing we want. We want to clean our town up, and I just appreciate finally getting it done. That's just one eyesore. They just seem to be popping up all over the place. It's a disgrace, but we are trying to do what we can. It's pathetic what the government won't let us do. But I appreciate the effort to finally get that thing forward.
Kind of like a landmark now.
Yeah.
Anything else come before?
Mr. Mayor, for the good of the city, the good of the order, if there is no other city business, I move that we adjourn this meeting.